Okay, so can I ask our brother Dennis to open for us with a short word of prayer?
Okay, please, you are praying. Father, we want to meet as brethren to discuss the way and how we will be equipped with tools and resources for evangelism. We thank you, O Lord. Commit every environment into your hands. We pray that have your way, take absolute control over us. Let our minds be touched and our hearts be touched by your power and authority. Cause us to understand what you want us to do and help us with strength so we can do them as is expected of us. We thank you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
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 Good evening once again, everyone, and welcome to today's session. So, what we are going to do today is we will try to look at the SPTTT material. During our last meeting, we were able to go online to the SOC to download the material, to unpack the material so we can access the individual files. If there are still any questions or you need any help with how to do that, please do not hesitate to let me know. And if you still have issues with access to the Saline online community platform, or you find that you still do not have access to some of the material, even though you have been trained as a trainer and certified, let us know. Or you can do what our brother Prince Will Kalu did. He sent an email, like I suggested, to support, Saline support at ihsglobal.org. And then they responded asking that I confirm that he needs access. And I'm going to do that. And once I do that, you will see he'll be upgraded and given access. So he will have access to more resources on the Saline platform. So if you have issues with that access, even though you have been trained as a trainer, so you can follow the same process, send an email to them, and once they communicate with me, I will respond accordingly, and you'll be given access. So today we are going to look at the SPTTT packets that we have unpacked, to look at the individual files, to open them and see what is in those files. What do they mean? How do we use them? When do we use them? So that's the plan for today. And I'm going to be sharing my screen so that we can go to the folder and open those two folders and see what is inside and get to examine them for the next 20 to 30 minutes. Excuse me. So let me share my screen. Okay. Can you all see my screen? Is that a yes? Okay, are we still together? Are we together?
Yes, Chief.
Okay, let me share screen again. Can you see my screen? I'm sharing where those two folders are for the SPTTT material. There are two folders here. The first one is the Facilitator Kit. The second one is the Trainer Candidate material. These two folders are inside that SPTTT 1.3 zipped file that we were able to unzip the last time we met. So these two folders, we are going to open them and see what they contain, so we can see how to use the contents, familiarize ourselves with the contents of those folders, and see how they are used. The first one here, the Facilitator Kit, is for you as the multiplying trainer who is training the trainers. So if you organize a Saline process training the trainers event, the people you are training are the trainer candidates, and you, the trainer, you are the facilitator. So what you send after downloading your material, you will send this bottom folder and the content to the participants, the people you're training, the trainer candidates, while you will use the one at the top as the facilitator. So let's go first to the material that you send to the people you're training, the trainer candidates, and see what is inside. So I double click, and inside there are two files. The first file is the Saline Process Trainer's Manual. You send that to the participants. They can print it on their own, or they can use it as a soft copy, especially if it is an online training. So if we double click that, you will see that it is the Saline Process Trainer's Manual. So all the participants should have that. This is the latest version, 220 pages. Okay. Then the next one is the Trainer Candidate Packet. I'm going to click on that now so that we see what it contains. So I double click. Are we still together? Okay, let me share again. Looks like I keep losing connection here and there. Okay. Okay, can you still see what I'm sharing on the screen? Brendan, are we still together?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Can see. Yes.
Yes, we can see.
Okay, so let me go back. So you can see in the screen, I have if I double click, it opens the content. Okay, let me stop sharing here so I can show you what it has opened. Let's go here. I'm not sure what is showing on your screen at the moment, but let me do this.
Is the trainer candidate packet that is shown on the screen.
Fine. So when I double click that second file, this is what opens. The trainer candidate packet. So let's scroll down and see what that is. There are about 30 pages. So this page here is like a content summary worksheet. Content summary worksheet. When you do an SPTTT training, there are two sets of activities that you do. And for those of you who have done this training with me in person, in Ghana, you would remember. In South Africa, you would also remember. If you were there in Botswana or in Uganda, you would also remember. The first set of questions we do when we put you in groups, we give you a set of questions and we ask you to work in small groups And at the end of the time allocated, you'll come and present. We can ask you,
Yes.
for instance, what are the key points in question one? What
Mm.
are the issues in question one? Why do we do okay, what's the what other question is that now? Uh just give me a moment, I'll get this material, this book, and I'll show you. Okay. So if you remember, for those of you who did this training with me, there are the first set of questions. We ask questions like, what are the key concepts of question one or question two or question three? And then we say, what are the main issues in teaching question two, for instance? Why do we talk about salt and light twice? And then if I'm short on time while teaching question three or question four, what do I do? So I'm sure you would remember that we do ask questions like that. So that is the first round of questions. Questions around question one, two, three, four, five. We ask about the main issues. We ask about the key concepts. We ask about if you are short on time, what do you do? Great. Once we are done with that first round of questions and we've answered them, the second round of questions is when we now come to the training itself, as in question one to five. Then if we have five groups, for instance, we can ask one group to go and prepare question one and present. Then we ask a different group to prepare question two and present. We ask a third group to maybe work on the role plays of demonstrating patient barriers and present. We can ask another group to work on question four and present. So, two rounds of questions. The first round of questions is when we ask about how you manage time, how you deal with difficulties when dealing with any of those questions from question one to five. We ask about the key concepts and so on. Or we even ask you to demonstrate some role play. But the second set of questions is when we give you the questions themselves, one to five, to prepare and present. So you can, well, that's where we see how you share the slides among yourselves, how you manage time, your presentation skills, how you use the PowerPoint, your management of time during the presentation, how you communicate with your audience, and so on and so forth. So it's important for you to know this distinction in how we engage with the participants during group participation, group work, and giving them assignments to present. Okay. The content summary worksheet here is also something that you use during that first set of questions. Let's quickly go through and see. So if you look at this one, you have the introduction, you have outline, then you have activities. What are the activities when you do your introduction? What is the purpose of the introduction? What is the procedure? How do you do it? Then the learning objectives. So for the participants, the purpose for this worksheet is you give them an activity to do in groups. For instance, you can give them like this introductory part, you give it to a group and say, okay, fill in this worksheet, this blank worksheet in your group. What are the objectives of the introductory part of the training? What is the purpose? What is the procedure? What are the potential problems? What are the training tips? And they give you the page number in the manual where you will find the relevant information. Then for question one, you can give this to a different group and say, okay, what are the outlines for question one? In question 1, you have activities like John's journey. There's activity 1.1. There's activity 1.2, faith in my healthcare. What is the purpose of these activities and what is the procedure? How do you do these activities? So you give this to them in the group. For that first set of assignments, they are going to work on this. What would be the learning objectives for question 1? They'll write it down. What are the potential problems in question 1? They'll write it down. What are training tips for question 1? For a different group, you can give them question 2 and say, okay, what is the outline for question 2? That information they'll find in page 38 and 39 of the trainer's manual. What are the activities you'll find in question 2? Activity 2.1 is salt and light. 2.2 is barriers in ourselves. 2.3 is John's journey. So what is the purpose of these activities and how do you do it? What is the procedure? What are the learning objectives for question 2? What are potential problems and training tips for question 2? And that is how you do it, and that's how you use this worksheet. You give it to them, they work in their groups, and they fill in this worksheet. And once you're done with that, then they can now present. Then there's another one here on John's journey. And John's journey are those role plays with John, for right from question 1 up to question 5. For question 1, you have slide 8, patient case facts, John's physical care only. So what is the patient's case? What are related activities and what is a discussion focus? Same with question 1B, slide 21, same format. Question 2. So everything about John's journey, they will write it down here so that they know exactly how to present the role play if they have to do it themselves. They know the case of the patient, the related activities, discussion focus. Like if you're asking after the role play, what could we have done for John? Or what did we miss the first time? So those are the discussion focus. After the role play, what will be the focus of the discussion around the role play? So once they're able to do that and they understand that, it becomes easy when when the facilitators or the trainer candidates you have trained, when they are presenting the Saline process witness training, they are able to ask the right questions. Okay, now the other part of this material is the Saline tester. The Saline tester is important also for you as a trainer candidate to know. You need to understand the Saline tester and know how to present it. So the bottom material here is about the Saline tester material. You will see the slides, and then you will see explanation. Like this one explains the first slide here, focus points. And then this next slide is also explained here, the focus points, and it gives you the page where you have it in your manual, the key points, the explanations. So for each of these slides, the focus point, the key points, the explanation. And once you understand this and how to use it, it becomes easier for you to know how to present the Saline tester. So as a trainer, you must know how to present a tester because a tester is what you use to appetize people and sensitize them and draw their attention to the full training. So if you do a good job in a tester, you will have lots of people coming for your training. I'll give you an example. I think it was 2018 or 2019. I went for, it was a conference in Rwanda. HCF was organizing a conference there. So I went and we were to do a training, but first we didn't have people to train. So we needed to give a taster during the conference so that we can now invite those who are interested in the training to come for the next 2 days. I think there were about 120 people or so in that conference in Kigali, I was given about 45 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes to give a taster. And then I gave a saline process taster and invited those who wanted to do the saline process training the following day to come and register. Now, no, not to register, to come to the hall, a separate hall where we're doing the training. So we had about 120 people in the conference. And when I gave that taster, I gave it so well that almost 80 people left the conference to come and do the saline training. So that tells you the impact of a taster. If in a conference of 120, 80 people are leaving the conference to come and do the training, that tells you something. So you need to do it so well that people are appetized. They want to know more about this training. They want to come and attend the full training. So the taster is there, and as a trainer, you need to be able to do a good job with the taster. Okay. The next material we have here is okay. Now this is like a time schedule for the taster material. This is for a 1 hour taster, 60 minutes. Saline process taster. This is like a program you can use. The time, the topics in the slides, the slide number, and then you can write the names of the presenters if there are more than one presenter. Then the duration in minutes of how long you can spend in each of these activities or slides here. Okay, so that's a program you can use for a taster. What else do we have here? Your planning worksheet for saline process witness training. And it gives that to you in steps. Step 1, you pray. Who is responsible? Team name, members, team leader, phone, email, country, target group, date of proposed saline process training, first planning meeting, dates plan. So you see, this is what we use after a saline process witness training to help people to plan for their first training. So this is like a planning worksheet. This was actually something I developed that IHS Global has now utilized and incorporated here. So, and of course it was modified and they added a few things. But you want to help people you've trained to organize their first training. This is a planning worksheet that they can use. Okay. So they've also added the aspect of budget. You want to do a budget for your training / conference material, transportation, major transport like planes, trains, local transport, taxis, buses, food, accommodation, others, communication, emails, and phone calls, etc. So you can use this to plan the budgeting for your training. What more do we have here? Saline process witness training, planning worksheet. So this is a continuation of the worksheet. So review the below options for follow-up. Select which options may be the best fit for your group. For the options you select, briefly summarize your specific goals. For example, if you select the option for prayer, specify who will pray and how often you plan to do it. That is, our training team will meet 1 times per month to review the group we have trained and pray for them. So write all of that for prayer, personal contact through email, phone calls, and so on, in-person meetings, social media group of all the participants, utilize the Saline online community, so this helps you with your planning. The other thing you have here is a planning checklist. And this helps you keep track of what you do so you don't leave anything out. So it's like a to-do list. What do you need to do? Who is the responsible person? What is the date by which it must be completed? And there's a space for notes. Register the course on the Saline online community. That's very important. So assign that responsibility to someone and put a completion date. It must be done by. Download the training kit, create a publicity flyer, Registration, set the registration fee to cover the cost for the sessions. Okay, you do all of those. Facility and accommodation if it's a face-to-face or in-person meeting. Training material, download training material and print out master copies, make copies of the participants workbook, make copies of the trainer manual. So all of that in the checklist, assign specific tasks to specific people with a due date so that they know by when the task should be completed. Okay. And then next, there's also a follow-up guide. Saline Process Witness Training Follow-up Guide. Okay. So it says IHS Global recommends the following elements as options in a good follow-up plan. A training team should decide together which elements to use and which team members will be responsible. There's a section on prayer. Schedule a regular time to pray personally for those you have trained. Training team members meet regularly and pray for the group they have trained. So there's a one on prayer, personal contact through email, phone, and or social media, in-person meetings, social media group of all the participants. That's like you create your WhatsApp group for follow-up after the training and so on. Utilizing the Saline online community, utilize the Saline process, online training, the sports, appoint a local leader to assist with follow-up, and group reunion and refresher where it's possible to have a face-to-face meeting. Or you can also use the material developed by HCF Switzerland, which we use for follow-up, the one that we call Growing Together as Witnesses. So that's available as well for those who are within the HCFI who use that material as a follow-up material post a Saline process training. Apart from the emails you get from IHS Global, once the follow-up emails have been activated on the SOC. The other material you have here in the trainer candidates packet is the evaluation form. And this is the evaluation form that they must fill in at the end of the training. And make sure you encourage them to fill in this form, otherwise they don't get a certificate. The evaluation form, evaluation is not optional, it's part and parcel of the training. So do not make it optional. Do not let them leave without completing the evaluation, otherwise your job is not complete and you will not be able to complete your report online without participants returning back this evaluation form, because it contains vital information that you will use to submit your report and your evaluation of the training at the end of a Saline process, at the end of the SPTTT event. Okay, so this form, evaluation form here, is for an SPTTT event, not for an SPWT event. And that's what we have in the trainer candidate packets. Okay, so this is where we'll stop for today. When we meet again, we shall now look at the facilitators kit and see what is inside and try to unpack and explain it. Okay, are there questions or comments? Yes, Ugo Chukwu Uchendu.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Mine is kind of a recommendation, if it is possible,
Okay.
concerning the evaluation form.
Yes.
Most times, especially when the training is virtual, it's a little bit difficult for participants, especially if they are not very technically endowed to fill and tick and try to manipulate the documents.
Yes.
So I'm asking if IH Global can have maybe a link for them to do the evaluation form, like you have SurveyMonkey, uh, Google Documents, those kind of document forms, those kind of link that will make it user friendly for them to just click a link and fill in the evaluation form and submit, and then you get it in the where the form is now submitted to collate it.
Yes.
It's just a recommendation. Thank you very much.
Okay. What I would say to that is that IHS Global produces standard material, but this evaluation form does not go to IHS Global. It comes to you, the trainer. So if IHS Global creates a link for them to fill in, all the information goes to IHS Global and you don't have access to it. And therefore, if you know how to use SurveyMonkey or Google Forms or Teams Forms, you can create that yourself and send the link to the participant. Just use the form IHS Global has created. Use the same set of questions so that you directly receive the feedback, not IHS Global. Do you get the difference? Because if they create it, they send you a link, whatever information is filled in goes to them, not to you, and you don't have access. In one of our
Okay.
monthly sessions with HCFI trainers, I did show them how to create forms like that, whether it's a registration form you want to create or an evaluation form on Google Forms and Teams Forms, so that they can use that for online events to create their registration form, or you can use it also to create an evaluation form based on the information on the hard copy you've seen. So this is something you have to do yourself so that the feedback comes to you, not to someone else who created the form. And that is why IHS Global cannot do it. Otherwise, it goes to a central database. It goes to them, not to you as someone who has given the training. Does that make
Thank
sense?
you.
Okay.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah. Sister Putsele, so I see your hand is up.
Yes, Tim. I just want to know this taster.
Yes.
You normally talk about it, but really I haven't find the opportunity to present a taster.
Okay.
So I haven't seen, how you do it.
Yes.
So when will we learn about it
Okay.
practical?
During this apprenticeship, we are going to do the taster.
Oh, okay.
So the first thing we'll do next week, let's unpack the facilitators kit files and explain it. Once we are done with that, our next assignment would be, actually, this would be your assignment before we meet next week. I would want you to go to the website, the Saline online community, and download, look for the taster. It's there. Look for the taster file or folder, download it. So that if you have any challenge with download, we can talk about that when we meet again and see what challenges you're having. So download the taster PowerPoint and the workbook. That will be the assignment before we meet again. So between now and then, go online, download the PowerPoint, download the workbook for a taster. We're going to see how to present a taster. We'll go through the taster material and how to present it during the course of this course, this apprenticeship. Yeah. Great. Do we have any other questions? Okay, so if there are no questions, we've already spent 35 minutes, and this will be a good place to stop for today. Okay, so I would like to ask Brother Ezekiel Razak, are you there? Ezekiel Razak, are you there? Okay, I don't hear him. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah, so can you please close for us with a word of prayer?
Okay. Our Father and our God, we thank you for today. We thank you for this session. Very insightful, very educative, and very revealing. We are grateful for this opportunity. We are praying that all that we have learned cause us to be able to remember and to be able to put into practice. Let us not just be hearers alone, but we can be able to apply all the things and the investment that is done through this training. Give us the enablement to be able to work on what we are desiring to do. Come and be with us from now until next time, and also give the facilitator the strength, the knowledge, and the understanding to be able to take us through this long journey. Bless you. Give you glory. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you all very much. God bless you. And see you again same time
Amen.
Thank you.
next week.
Thank you.
Thank you and bye bye.